Hi everyone, my name is Ryan, and in this lesson I'm going to be teaching you how to add JavaScript to your website. JavaScript is a functional language that allows you to add additional functionality to your site, including drop-down menus, pop-up layers, slideshows, form validation, and so on. So to add JavaScript, we use the script tag. Some people like to add it into the head section of the document. But I like to add it just before the closing body tag of the document. So the reason for this is that I want the JavaScript to load last. The content is much more important for me than the actual JavaScript. So rather always do your JavaScript to last. So example of some JavaScript coding is the alert function. And the alert function just pops up a little pop-up box with the message that's in the brackets in the pop-up box. So I should get a pop-up box with a message of test coming up. Notice that every instruction in JavaScript ends with a semicolon. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm going to do a live preview to show you what it looks like. Okay, so now we have a little pop-up appearing here with the word test inside of it. This pop-up will look different depending on which browser you are using. So we'll press OK, and that will then get rid of the pop-up. Okay, so sometimes you may get a little live preview error. That's just it's a brackets problem. So I'll just close that for now. Okay, so another way you can add JavaScript is by putting it into an external file. So here I've created a file called javascript.js. .js is the file extension we need to use for JavaScript files. And I've now put the alert message inside of this. I'm just going to change this maybe to testing 5, just so we have a different example. Save that file, and then going back to the HTML file, instead of putting the JavaScript code between the script tags, I'm instead going to delete all of that code between the script tags and simply add a source attribute into my script tag. The source attribute will contain the external file that I want to load in this case javascript.js. So if I go back to the browser and refresh, notice now it says testing 5. And testing 5, you'll remember, is what we put into the external JavaScript file. So what are the advantages of loading in JavaScript externally instead of inline? Well, for me, it's much neater, first of all. And also, you'll notice that I can reuse this code on other pages. So for example, I have another HTML file here called adding JavaScript. And I've inserted the same script tag pulling in the external JavaScript file over here. So if I live preview, you'll notice I get exactly the same pop-up coming up on the JavaScript page. So this allows us to reuse existing JavaScript code and not have to copy and paste the same code on every single page. A good example of this would be a navigation system. Typically, every subpage on your site will have the same navigation, so you then copy and paste in the same navigation code. Now you can have as many of these as you want. So for example, I may have one script tag pulling in one file and then another script tag pulling in another file. And the order of this will be the order in which the script tags are loaded. So first we'll load the code from javascript.js, and then we'll load the code from navigation.js. And that brings us to the end of this lesson on inserting JavaScript into our code.